Hello everyone, it's time to start the videos again and hopefully I will be of some help to you over the coming season. Because the weather has been so bad and very wet outside, it's very difficult to walk in the garden and walk on the ground. So today I'm going to do just a few cuttings from my indoor plants. Before I take the cuttings, I thought I'd show you what I did last year. Well, this plant here, and as you can see, this was one of my old plants that I grew last summer, which is obviously I bought from one of the stores. And as you can see, the leaves are quite brown, falling off. Still looks in quite good condition, but smaller leaves. So that was one of the old plants. And what I generally do is take cuttings mid to late summer. And this one, you can see the difference. These are cuttings that were taken probably last summer, middle to late last summer. And as you can see, far more blooms on them. The leaves are much larger. They have been kept indoors, they've been kept in the conservatory. So obviously they've been protected through the winter. So that again was a couple of cuttings in there which were taken mid to late summer last year. And really what it shows is that really you are better off taking cuttings and leaving the old plants, either disposing of them or trying to keep them. This was another one that was cuttings taken from another plant last year, and these are all the new cuttings. Again, you can see the number of blooms. So from now on, I will just take cuttings every summer, and then I will leave the old plants either in the garden or out of doors. But lovely plants if you can keep them indoors, on a windowsill, anywhere where it's frost protected and it's reasonably cool. So that's another one there. So what I'm going to do now today, it's just probably for me, it's the right time to start taking a cuttings of the geraniums. And what you normally have to do is take a non-flowering shoot. And as you can see from this one, there isn't a non-flowering shoot. So what I will do is, there's a long one with an unopened bud there. So if I take that one and actually cut it to about 3 leaves down, 1, 2, 3, cut it just below the leaf there. And then obviously what you need to do now is you can't let the flower on the top stay because it will take all the goodness from the plant. Just peel it off. And you see there's another little one in the middle there. Again, peel that one off there and take the lower leaves off. As you can see, lower leaves are coming off there. And I'll do that right up until you get the little one at the top, there and there. So I shall leave those few leaves and hopefully we'll have new growth coming from the tip there. But with geraniums, you can't put them straight into compost. This one I took probably about 2 or 3 hours ago, and you can see it's quite dry on the bottom. And if you do that, it stops them from damping off, especially this time of the year, because there's much more risk of them dying this time of the year than if you do it a little bit later. And you can do cuttings anytime from now on, just depends on how much space you have. But that's quite dry there. And if you look at that one, it's quite moist. So if I put that one straight into the compost, there's more chance of that one rotting than that one. And all you do then, like your normal cuttings, is you have your pot, you put them around the edges of the pot, just make a little hole, push them in, and then you do as many cuttings as you like, put a label on them. You do not need to cover this pot with polythene because they like to be left in the open air. So do not cover these with polythene, which is quite opposite to what you do for most cuttings. So do as many as you can, and hopefully you've got time to have some decent plants for the summer, because even though you can buy them in the shops at the moment and they're quite small, but you can have the same size cuttings if you take them off your main plant. So that's the geraniums. But again, lovely colours, well worth keeping inside. The other thing I'm doing is a couple of other cuttings. And this is a fuchsia that was taken probably early last year, and I didn't repot it. So what has happened, it's grown, that's the old bit of wood there, and it sent a shoot straight up there, and this one, which is curved all the way down there. Well, I don't want that to be that shape anyway. So what I'm going to do is to cut this one just above the leaf joint there, and I'm going to take cutting off this one as well. So what you do with this is you count again 1, 2 sets of leaves. And if you look, got two, the set there, cut just below it. And it's really always just below the leaf joint. Then peel the bottom ones off or cut them. You can use a secateurs to cut them or a knife. I find it's just as easy to cut them, peel them off. Pull the little bits of new growth from there, take them off. So you end up with that sort of end to it and that sort of a cutting. Pinch the tip out because you don't want the tip to grow too far. You want it to be able to push out. Just pinch the tip out like that. There we are. So you've got 2 lots of leaves there, 2 lots of leaves there. And then I'm going to use, this was a plant tray where I had bought some different plants and I had them come in very handy. So I'm just going to use this for some cuttings and I'll just put them in the side there, gently push them in. And then if I want more fuchsias, I'll do all fuchsias in there or in there. But at least by having a tray like this, you can put a lot of different cuttings in there as long as you know that they all need to be covered with a polythene bag. So that's the fuchsia. And I'll do the same with this one. As you can see, they're wilting very quickly. I count down 1, 2, and I'll just take it just below the second joint there, like that. Again, peel off the bottom there and there. Pinch the flowering tip from the center and then do the same again. Make a little hole and put them near the edge of the pots or the plants because apparently it's warmer on the edge than it is in the middle because I suppose the warm air gives just the size. Do that, and although that was a long cutting, I can still use the rest of that as another cutting, although it doesn't have a top to it. So again, I shall cut it just below there, peel the lower leaves off, and I'll peel that one off as well. Because there's no tip on that, it's just a little piece. If I leave that as it is, it will probably die off anyway. So I'm going to cut the tip there and do it that way. As you've noted, probably seen in the past, very often I also shorten the leaves on top as well. I'm trying 2 ways this time, but you just cut the leaves there, which means there's less surface area for the plant to lose moisture. Again, put it in there, and that's your fuchsias done. And then there's another thing I usually take, I get asked about hydrangea cuttings, and usually you can take them almost any time of the year from now on for a while. But what I do with mine is, this is a piece I cut off from my main branch there. Now, as you can see, you've got some nice long growths there. You can see they're all new because they're quite green. If you look at that bit there, it's brown. From there up, it's this lovely green. The same on that side, tiny bit of brown and mainly green, and the same down there. I have done this many times in the past, and I've done it with Philadelphias, and I've done it with lots of other shrubs. Rather than wait until they get long stems on them, I just peel them off. They're almost like heel cuttings. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So just peel the lower leaves off the bottom again. And because they need to be covered with a polythene bag, I'm going to put them in the same tray so that one bag will cover the whole lot. So pull them all off like that. And then we've got the tops, which I usually do with hydrangeas, just trim the tops. And so I shall put that one. As you see, you end up with very small cutting, but sometimes because the growth is all on the tip, they seem to root much more quickly. Put that one in there. I do the same with all of these, just pull the lower leaves off. I make a heck of a mess, but just pull the lower leaves off. And then again, cover the tops, put them in there like that. If you find that because these are new growths, they may start forming flower buds on the end there. So if you do see that the flower buds are starting to grow, just pinch the flower buds out and you'll then have a plant that will start pushing out. But at the moment, I don't want to pinch the tips out because they're very small anyway. And as I said before, these are my way that I do them. And I don't say that everyone should do exactly the same thing, because we all have different ideas and different ways of doing things. But this is my way, and for me, it works. But if you try it and it doesn't work, then try a different method. So as you see, those are done now. I would give them a light spray. I wouldn't water them completely, because you don't want them to, this soil to be soaking wet. And especially if you don't have a conservatory or an indoor place where you can put them, you have to put them in the greenhouse. The greenhouses still can get quite cold. So do it that way. And then you cover the whole thing with a polythene bag. And if you don't have polythene bags, don't go and buy them. This is one of the bags we get for the recycling for the food waste. So I use this, which means that I don't use many of them, but if I have any spare, I will. And then you just cover the whole thing over. It's easy because it's a large bag. You can literally push them into the tray there. Then you can just seal the end. I won't seal this because obviously I have to water them. You can seal the end off there like that, tie it off, and you've got a lovely little propagator there, which hopefully within about a month, possibly, these might root and you will have some extra plants. So hopefully this will give you some idea of what you can do now, especially when the weather's awful, very bad. Can't wait to get out in the garden because things are starting to grow. Next video I'm going to do will be one about the apple trees. I'm going to try and prune my apple trees, and I also want to try and do some grafting, one apple tree to another. So I've already taken some of the little pieces off my old tree, and I will try and hopefully show you that. And I'll also do a video of my wisteria, because it's getting to the point now where the flower buds are beginning to appear. So I hope that helps for this time. But any questions and anything you think that you would like me to talk about, and if I don't know it, I will try and find out. So hopefully you will let me know. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.